Nulla's really getting that command whoosh. Now you don't have to get in there and start pulling ropes down or anything like that. They're smart enough. So just saying the word whoosh. He's only been going a bit over a week now, and he's really starting to get it. Diamond's now watching Nulla get saddled up. Because today's the day we're gonna put a saddle on Diamond and teach him to sit for the first time. So what Nulla's doing, he's showing Diamond the way. You can see Nulla's doing really well. It doesn't take a camel long. It's a very intelligent animal. In fact, some say he's as smart as an average 9-year-old child. So he's learned that word whoosh. They learn voice commands really well, and much like a dog. When you tell a dog to sit, you don't always sit there pushing his bum. You just use the word. He's smart enough to work it out. The Diamond over here's been watching. Nulla's nice and calm, so it should relax Diamond a bit, and it'll be his turn next to take a saddle and learn to sit down. That word we use, whoosh, whoosh. Stand, stand. Now I always find it important when a camel gets up, as soon as he gets up, you tell him to stand. Okay, get him to relax in that position with the saddle, and then you can move on from there. Good on you, big man. You watching, Diamond? What I've done here, I'll just put the saddle and the blanket on the rail next to Diamond, and I'll leave it here for a little bit so he gets to have a little bit of a smell of the saddle and realise this is not going to hurt him, okay, rather than just jumping in with a surprise. I mean, like I said, they're a smart animal. He's already seen Nulla in saddle, so he already's got a rough idea about what's going on. It can make him a little bit nervous, and Diamond, he's not as confident as Nulla. You can see in his eyes, he's a little bit nervous. He's got that little bit of a look going on. He's going to do a little bit of contact here. Okay. Definitely not as confident as Nulla. This is why we're going to take our time with this bloke. When we get him down, we're going to use a blanket to just touch over him a bit and get him nice and settled. It's called bagging. Come on, Nulla, walk up. So I'm just walking Nulla up. I'll put him up this end. We'll take Diamond to the other end. It's real handy to have a trained camel around. Even though Nulla's pretty new to it, he's a good guide. So when I'm working a new camel or teaching it to sit, take a saddle, it's good to have one already in saddle around. The Diamond already can see Nulla's not stressed about anything, so it'll help the camel along. It's always hardest to do the first one. So what we're going to do is just get the saddle off and sit it down here. When we're training a camel to sit, you might fling around and bang into the bar. So we don't have anything sitting up here that could fall off and scare the animal. So I'm just going to put it nice and close here. See, Diamond's fairly rope responsive. Just a word, not much pressure at all to get him moving along. Just bringing him into the tree. It's the same again, same as Nulla. We use the loop here. Pull his head down. I like to keep the camel's head about the same level as me. Any higher, he's in threat position. Down at my height or lower, it's fairly well able to handle him. Now this fella here is a full grown bull. Okay, Nulla's a fairly young one, but this bloke's a full grown bull. He's very smart and very dangerous. Okay, Diamond, push, 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 push. Okay, so there's a bit of fight in Diamond. He's a full-grown bull, rightio. But that rope trick works really well, okay? Now he's a really strong camel, so it's a bit of a hard get down there for him. And you can see over here, he's a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous, not as confident as Nulla. So we're just going to take our time a little bit with him, and we're always emphasising the word whoosh, whoosh. You're right, big fella, whoosh. A little bit of contact there. trying to get him to settle. I'm just going to go in and try and touch him now. Be a good chance he's going to fly up. So in that case, I want to have my rope set, ready to go, just in case. Always having that little bit of pressure there. A little bit of pressure. Push, push. I'm just going to work my way along the rope. Push, push. Little touch and back. Okay, let him understand. Push, 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 push. That's why it's good to have your rope set. Boom, boom, up and down he gets. And you can see the shake in the shoulder there. It's a good sign of his nerves, right? So as I said, just going to work along with the rope a little bit. Let's go for initial first touch. You're right, big fella. And back off there. Good boy. I don't want to be too far away from him all the time. I want to keep doing this. Eventually get to the stage where I've got all touch on him there. Good boy. Now a little bit of pressure there. Pressure's always good, rather than soft touches. Nice big firm pressure hands there. You're right, big fella. You can see those teeth in his head. Last thing you want is that to grab your arm. We're keeping pressure on this rope here. We've gone for the belt strap around his leg and we've just pulled his head a little bit closer to the tree. Now, he's a smart camel, this bloke. He knows the less room on his rope there. He's got slack rope, he knows he can grab me. They can work things out really quick, these camels. Push, 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 push. You can see in his shoulders there he's fairly shaky, okay? It's a pretty extreme thing, but this is something camels do naturally in the wild, is sit. So, like I said before in other videos, wild bull camels, when they fight, they come over the top and pull that leg up and drive them down. This is to assert their place in the pecking order. So, now that I've got him down, he'll be looking at me as being the boss of this. So now what I want to do, which is different to what happens in the wild camel world, in the wild camel world, very potentially he could be crushed to death during a fight if he doesn't survive it. So what I'm going to do now is try and calm him down. I'm going to use a simple method, circle work around the head. So these were shown to me by the old timers, and it's sort of a method of like hypnotizing the camel and just getting him to relax a little bit. I'm going to have a little touch and then move away. I want to move my hand first, not the camel's head. Yeah, big fella, you're right. Now this can take a little while. On a really wild camel, it can take up to half an hour to get them to calm down. But ultimately, this is the point that I like to get to with a camel. If any stress things happen, is to come back to the nose. Okay, it's a fairly sensitive area around there. So if we can get a contact there, we can generally calm down a little bit. You can already see his eyes are starting to quieten down a little bit there. He's not so wide-eyed anymore. Nice blinking, relaxing. And when a camel's head comes down a little bit, he's starting to relax. When that head's right up in the air like that, he's fairly nervous. It's all right, big fella. See you too on the lips. When he's got a lip that splits like that, he's nervous. When it's spread like that, he's real nervous. You can see he's starting to come down there in the lips now, and just accept my hand. You're right, big fella. Now if you have a look down at his shoulders now, you can see the shaking's really stopped. Now this is just simple head works, just to calm him down. Keeps the focus more around the face and my point of the hand. I mean, they're pretty scary things, human hands, especially for animals with all four legs and hoofs. They haven't got these. So getting used to these, you can see now, he's starting to really relax. Don't get me wrong, he'll still have a go at you. We're just going to work this. We've only been doing this now for a couple of minutes, and already it's really working. Fairly calmed down now, so we're going to go and get the blanket. Now this is a thing called bagging. Not as confident as Nulla, he was a bit nervous there, so we used the blanket to tap over the animal nice and firmly to try and get that to touch most of his body so he can relax and realise we're not going to hurt him. You just come in, always keeping it to the off side of the camel. We're going to go back to that head works and slowly introduce him to the blanket. I'm just going to slowly bring this blanket up, let him have a little look at it. Bring it over to his lips, he'll realise very soon that this ain't going to hurt him. Okay. And when I come to the side, I want to have that rope in my hand again. Just have that little bit of pressure there. And just slowly come in. I'm using the rope to have a bit of pressure on the camel, that way we're always maintaining that bit of contact. Push, big fella. Push. Got to touch him with it. Push, 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 push. You can see they get fairly nervous of it. It's okay, nothing bad's happening to him at the moment. Push, push, push. It's okay. Push, push, push. I'm going to bring it really low into his shoulder. Just have a nice firm touch there. Okay, bagging basically is just tapping the camel. Okay? Nice and gentle, big fella. Okay. A little bit of work with this. It's worth taking your time, especially for a nervous camel. Okay, and just slowly work your way around his body. Okay, good, mate. And then after a couple of goes, I'm just going to flick it over his shoulder there. Okay, now he's got his blanket on. So he's got that little bit of a shake going on in his shoulder again. So we're going to come back to this nice central point of him. Get him to focus on what we're doing here in front. He'll be. You'll soon see these side lips, all the lips will start to relax. The shoulder will start to relax. So before we go for the saddle, we're just going to go around and retie this other leg. He's a little bit nervous. We're coming under the rail there, so we're going to take a real lot of time here just to get that settled and just keep him nice and calm. A little bit of contact there. That's a big fella. Put his tied down nice and now. Okay, make sure this saddle's nice and firm on him. That's the way, big fella. So he's done pretty well. Now he's a full-grown bull, this bloke. A little bit of muck around, flick around, jump around and stuff like that. Once you get him down and get the saddle on, he's pretty much calming down now. He knows he's all right. He's just playing with me. He's a full-grown bull. He's a smart animal, a very dangerous animal. So, but now we've got this done, he'll have a bit more respect for me, and I've certainly got a lot of respect for him. There you go, old Diamond. So it's not too bad. Maybe he's just a bit worried about those fancy coloured blankets. Maybe he just wanted some black ones. No, you're all right, big fella. We're just going to get him untied here. A few hitches over the knee. I get the last one off, what I call the ejector seat strap. Just going to make sure it's nice and firm here. Okay, probably do that one up a little bit more, but that's okay around his neck. That one there. Might just pop it up a little bit, just so it's a little bit firm there, not too much. We don't want something slapping around him. And we're just going to check this one. We'll just see if we can get it up another one. Make sure the saddle stays on. Okay. Now we're going to hit the ejector seat. I found this works really well. Bit of a weightlifter's belt, fairly wide. We've got him all undone now. We're just going to let him sit. Come back to the head. I always find this important. You don't want a camel to start feeling his ropes are off. It's time to get up. I always like to work at this point before I get them off the ground. So the camel knows before to get up, we have this initial contact. Especially if it comes to big pack camels and things like that, this bike will be pretty good suited for. He's fairly strong and be able to take some good weight. You don't want to get that rope and do it and bang, have him come up. So I make sure this is the point I come back to before he gets off the ground. He doesn't seem to want to get off the ground, old Diamond. He's pretty happy there, just sitting there chilling out under a gum tree. That's fair enough. He's had a bit of a play today and a bit of a fight with the old pushing down. So if the camel gets to this stage, rather than stirring him up and making him get up, we're just going to leave him sit here and just feel his saddle. Okay? All right, buddy. So now we've got him tied, I find the best way to get him up, I'm going to go and get Nulla and just walking back over to his hitching rail. Coming up, Diamond. Come on, big fella. You're free now. He's been standing there for a couple of minutes getting used to that saddle. Seems to be taking it all right. This will be the next test, the walk. So just going to keep that little bit of pressure on there. If he shoots out to the side that way, I'll put pressure on this side here and always maintain it. I like to lock the rope between my thumb and my fingers, and I hold on to it with this hand, my left. This one I can move along the rope, bit of pressure, a bit loose. So they're pretty relaxed together. They've been together for a little while now, and we've been walking them together, so the saddle's not making much difference there for old Diamond. He's pretty happy to cruise along. In fact, he's probably feeling pretty proud of himself.